This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are the things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Between bad calls and intense rivalries, there's enough to stress about on game day. Keep your mind on the field and off your body odor with Dove Men Plus Care Whole Body Deodorant. Available at Walmart. Dove Men Whole Body Deo provides all-day odor protection from your pits, privates to feed. From pregame analysis to halftime insights to unexpected overtimes, Dove Men Whole Body Deo gives you confidence that lasts all day. Pick it up at your local Walmart.
55.3 thousand views, 2,100 likes of me just getting absolutely destroyed. And the comments are still going, and the likes are still coming. Like, what? I guess that's what you get for fucking coming to the ACHA, I guess.
Yeah, the likes and comments are still rolling, but yeah, you're kind of getting flamed, dude. Like, the people think that.
Yeah, apparently it's my fault that the guy with no stick in his hands comes, jumps, and pushes his hands in my face and open ices me.
Like, dude,
it's my fault. Sorry, guys.
People are like,
yeah,
oh, his hands didn't get him in the face, and people are saying that. Like, I think people are not realizing that the guy also has no fucking stick. Like, his entire intent was just to take.
He was on the kill.
Yeah,
he was on the kill, dude. It was the penalty kill. Like, he could have just went for it. He just finished killing. He could have just went for a change, but no, he's got to come and open ice me, and when I'm trying to play the fucking puck to my D-man, like,
oh,
what am I gonna do? Leave the puck? Like, no.
I just couldn't believe it, dude. I thought maybe that since he didn't have a stick, you probably could have left it.
Maybe, like, I was thinking about that. Like, that was what was running through my mind when I was coming out to the ice. I was like, what's this guy gonna really do with the puck? Like, he's not gonna do shit.
And then he just goes straight. At what point did you realize he was trucking you? After it happened? Yeah.
I didn't realize that he would do that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought he would I thought he was just gonna, like, curl off.
Yeah.
And then go for a change because he just finished killing a penalty for the last 45 seconds.
So funny.
To a minute.
How funny is that all the guys on his team reposting it to their stories, and none of them followed the pod? Like, what's up with that?
None of them follow the pod. None of them. Dude, they're not going to try and support me. They actually came up to me, like, as I was getting helped off the ice. Yeah. They were like, it's not no one likes that kid. Like, he's like he transferred there from D3 or something.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And he said that he's probably going to get, I don't know, he's probably going to get suspended. I really hope he gets suspended.
That would be pretty crazy if he doesn't, in my opinion.
If he doesn't get suspended, I'm going to be pretty surprised. Even the announcer, like, did you hear the clip? Like, the announcer, like, was in shock.
Someone asked if it was Jack Edwards announcing.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, "Oh, what's going on?" Like, it's so funny, man. I was like, and then if you watch the rest of the clip, like, the boys get in there and start reaming on him pretty hard.
All the KI boys get in there.
Yeah, well, we had like 5 of them on the ice because it was the power play.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, and then but yeah, no, I was like, fuck, I'm all right, boys. Like, don't worry.
Yeah, no. So are you conked? I had to leave. They were worried about it, but
no, they were worried about me being conked. They thought the guy on the ice thought I, like, passed out. Like, he thought I lost consciousness.
Yeah.
I think I can stay, and he was like, I highly recommend that you leave the ice. And I was like, okay, fair enough, man. Like, that's what you think. That's what you think what should happen, because I know how hard it is for a goalie to, like, come in the middle of the game. So I was like really trying, and it was like a really important weekend too. Like, they're a pretty good team.
Yeah, of course, it was competitive games.
Yeah, both 4-2 wins for us, but it was still, like, good hockey. Mm-hmm. Like, they're a good team actually. Yeah. Like, overall, like, they're really solid. But yeah, it was also their third game in 3 days. They played a local team on Thursday night, so they were probably pretty tired. But yeah, this guy, I don't know. This guy, all the teammates were coming up to try and apologize and shit, and, like, they were like, yeah, that's not who we are and shit. And I was like, okay.
Well, hey, clearly not all of them, because they were reposting it on the story, and Buddy Guy
That was the dude's brother, bro.
Well, no, that dude's brother. The dude's brother was in the comments, but they were all the Davenport guys were reposting to their stories, and then Buddy tries to follow Cheyenne on Instagram out of nowhere. How the like?
I want to try and chirp him.
How do you think?
I didn't even check and see if he accepted my follow request or not.
Do you think he went to the pod, then went on your account, looked, saw you were private or something, went on mine, saw a picture with a girl, then went on Cheyenne's?
And then he definitely went on the pod and then
went on mine.
Saw that we're both tagged in the bio.
God,
and then tried to follow your girl.
It was absolutely devious behavior, dude. I couldn't believe it. The work he put into that.
We don't have name bars, so I mean, he probably could figure out that you're not on Drury, but maybe he got us confused.
Yeah, maybe he thought I was on Drury. Well, I feel like he just probably saw that we do the pod together and was like, "Fuck this guy, I'm going." Like, just I caught a stray.
Yeah, Owen caught a stray, but no, we sorted it out.
No biggie. No worries. And the social media is popping. It gave us a great clip, so thanks for that.
Exactly. Guy. Hopefully, hopefully the team and the league make the right decision.
Yeah, hope so.
No comment on whether or not that's going to happen yet, but we'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 18 of the Jungle Hockey Podcast, featuring an interview with Jake Ebner.
Oh, yes.
Head coach, Kerry Park Islanders. Not GM.
He might be like assistant GM or GM. He might be the GM as well, but head coach.
He might help. Probably helps with the trades a little bit. Yeah, I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Owen Elson.
Hello, how we doing, bud? Thanks, buddy. Doing good.
Muzzy's looking good.
Yeah, the Muzzy's looking good. Yours is probably looking a bit better than mine. Did you shave on October 31st? Or did you keep it?
I loaded it up because it had something to do with my Halloween costume.
Right. You loaded it up.
I loaded up for a week because I wanted to look good on Halloween.
Okay, fair enough. So you're a little ahead of me, but this kind of leads into just what we want to get started off with today. Is we are we got a Movember page running, and we're trying to raise some funds for men's health. So we'll have this we'll have the Movember page posted and the link posted, trying to just raise donations for men's health. Please, we would really appreciate any donation whatsoever that you'd be willing to provide, and obviously all the proceeds will be going to Movember. And there's lots of people doing lots of different fundraisers and whatnot for this cause. There's lots more ways you can support if besides just donating. So be sure to check out Movember's page and everything to do with that, and do what you can to just help support men's health. And we'll have the link out there, and hopefully we can raise some funds for that. But Joe, anything you want to add there? Or?
No, I don't think so. I think we have a pretty small goal for financial bit, but it's also just about raising awareness. You don't even have to help financially. Just
absolutely.
The whole men's mental health doesn't get talked about enough, and it's also to do with men's cancer, testicular cancer. So it's just overall just a really good cause. I do it every year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every year it's slowly been getting better and better here. So hopefully we can. I'm interested to see what's going to look like after. What's only the 12th today, so
yeah,
I got about I got about 2-3 weeks of growth here.
It's got room to go. I don't know. Like, should people be like voting on who's, maybe at the end of the month people need to have a vote on whose is better?
Whose is better?
Not necessarily bigger, but maybe we can style them or something. Obviously, all the cameras are off. Right, I gotta get enough. Can't see, but they'll see in the interview. On the
end so I can twirl it.
Just twirl them.
Yeah, get enough on the end so I can twirl it, get a little wax.
Yeah.
Brew on my team. Levi Brewer, he's got a pretty sick mustache. I might have to bring out his mustache wax.
The Soyuz Coyotes alumni, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so that's pretty much all we need to say to start off with. But yeah, please just consider donating and consider doing what you can to raise awareness, men's health. I think pretty much everyone knows someone who's been affected by men's cancer or that kind of thing. So and if not, obviously it's just a good cause to raise for, and you probably know someone else who has been affected in some way. So beyond that, what do we got today, Joe? How have you been? The hockey's been good, life's been good.
Yeah, hockey's been good, other than getting absolutely steamrolled. It was all right. And the fucking 12-hour bus ride there and back was fucking brutal.
Yeah, not a lot to see on the way to Grand
No,
Rapids.
it was I'm quoting our coach here, it was a stand-up sleeper or sit-up sleeper. So it was a sleeper bus, but it was a regular bus, but it just had really wide seats and kind of tilted back a little further. It was not a sleeper bus. Let's just put it that way. It was pretty brutal. It was a tough sleep. I was feeling a little groggy before the game on Friday. I've learned to play after only 4 hours of sleep though, so it's kind of taught me how to adapt.
There you go. Adapt, improvise, and overcome, right?
Exactly. So I've been catching up on some sleep lately. Got my midterm done this week.
Nice.
For stats, my second midterm. Who does what kind of prof does 2 midterms?
Hey, I got one tomorrow too, dude.
Exactly, dude. Like, fuck sakes. But so I've been staying busy, but we got a really big weekend this week.
We got
number 8 OU versus number 11 the Drury Panthers. So this is a marquee matchup. We might get game of the week by the Hockey House.
Oh yeah, you think so?
Possible. It's possible. We're both ranked pretty high. It's just like if we win both games, we're pretty much, I'd say not guaranteed, but we're in favor. We're favorited to go to nationals.
Right.
If we win both.
Damn,
if we split, it's still probably pretty solid too.
Some insane breaking news this week, Joe. It's come out that the NCAA vote to allow CHL players to play in the NCAA after their CHL career has been passed officially. As of August 1st, CHL players will be allowed and eligible to commit to NCAA D1 teams. Officially commit. You can verbally commit right now or whatever.
Saw the first one the other day.
Yeah, how insane is this, dude? Like, just maybe try and talk about the impact, the trickle-down effect, who's affected in what ways. Dude, what do you think?
All the way down to midget, all the way down to bantam, the effects that this will have. I think, as a kid growing up, when you're in bantam, you got to start thinking about it. Like, you're like, okay, do I want to play junior A? Do I want to go to the dub? And do I want to, get my college degree, or do I want to, risk it for the biscuit, go to the dub, maybe get an NHL draft, maybe be an NHL draft pick, be good enough, and then go U Sports afterwards. But now it's, why wouldn't you go to the dub? And I think that the leagues are going to suffer. Like BCHL, USHL,
cooked.
Yeah,
cooked.
Yeah, you saw the probably statements. You saw this, even the null, like the null and the AJ. Who's going to want to play there? With the null and the AJ? Who's going to
AJ?
Like the AJHL? Like the Alberta Junior Hockey League?
What's wrong with the AJ?
Like, who's going to want to play? No, I know, but like who's going to want to play there? Like, the league's not going to, because all the good players are going to go to the dub now, and it's totally going to trickle down. Everyone's going to want to go play in the WHL because the WHL is the biggest market.
Oh, I'm sorry. I understand.
What I'm saying?
So with like the AJ, I guess, yeah. So the CJHL is not going to get that top end talent anymore.
No, it's going to completely water down the leagues.
But yeah, but it's still going to be high level junior A hockey. Like, you're just not going to you're going to take out the top
25%,
1%, 2%.
I was going to say the top.
You think?
Well, how many players are committed in that league?
Not that many.
You don't think 25% of the league's committed? Is it okay? Let's say 15, maybe 10. I think the impact is bigger than you think, man. Because you're gonna see decoms now as well. There's not gonna be enough space, dude.
Yeah, no, for sure. I just think that, look, like, yeah, that top chunk of talent is always gonna go CJHL, or sorry, it's always gonna go CHL instead of CJHL. But I think this benefits the CJHL as a whole because the BCHL is gonna be gone. So you got to consider the entire BCHL. Where are those kids going to play?
That's right.
Too?
I think
a chunk will make the dub. A chunk will go across the CJHL to Alberta, places like that, and then the rest will stay here in the KI or the PIDGE, whichever one, or however they format the tier 1, tier 2 system.
That's right. I think do you know if the dub guys are? Do you think the dub guys are going to be able to go D3?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, that's a lot. Okay, that's for sure. Then
yeah, 100%. It probably won't happen a ton, but I guarantee you maybe some of the lower end guys or just guys who more focused on the school they're going to or want to have fun.
Fair enough.
ACHA too.
Yeah.
I mean, they were always allowed to do that, but
no. There's eligibility requirements.
no?
Yeah.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
I didn't really know about this either. Apparently, I don't really know the in depths of it, but we were talking because one of the defensemen on our team, Slobodian's brother, plays for Portland, and we were talking like, oh yeah, haha, like what if Slob Jr. wanted to come to Drury, and the our assistant coach piped up. He was like, it's not going to happen unless they change the rules. And I was like, okay, wow, I didn't even know there was a WHL. Like, you weren't allowed to play semi-pro, which
Yeah, that's crazy.
I didn't know either. So
for the ACHA.
Yeah. So especially for the ACHA, it's weird. But yeah, I think the pools of everything is going to get watered down. It's going to be definitely going to be more structured, because the dub, the O, and the Q are going to get the absolute best of the best. Like, there's not going to be.
Well, I think those leagues are also all going to be expanding.
That's true.
Like, I think you're going to see like BCHL teams join the dub. You're going to see USHL teams join the dub, the O, the Q. Like, because there's just the USHL is not going to work anymore the way they want it to, and neither is the null probably won't either. And like I doubt like the USPHL will be affected much, but when you look at the overall impact, I think this is a good thing for the CJHL, because you're now the direct WHL affiliate, basically.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's fair.
Players,
because that's how it's going to go.
They've tried to make it so it's one pathway now, right? You play zone or academy, then you play CJHL, or you go straight from zone or academy to the dub. That's the route now. And then you go to the NCAA or U Sports, because U Sports is still an option, but this is probably going to really water down.
U Sports is fun.
It's going to hurt it. Probably.
Like, you're telling me Connor McLennan's on Golden Bears right now, right?
That's insane that he.
You're telling me that
I can't.
You're telling me that guy is not going to transfer to Wisconsin or transfer to Nodak.
No, that's a really good point. Yeah, that's a good. There's so many like nasty, sick guys WHL players in the U Sports that'll leave.
Yeah, they're just gonna leave and go and make NCAA D1.
That's a really good point.
Better.
Yeah, and then NCAA D1 is also going to keep expanding like crazy. I mean, you're seeing a lot of the southern states. They really need to get some more like Western schools, like Washington, Oregon, and California. Like, the schools there all need to start getting some teams. Man,
UNLV.
It's actually crazy they don't. Idaho. Yeah, UNLV, I don't think it's going to be too long until they end up transitioning. Their program's so insane. Anything else with this news you want to touch on, or any other implications it has?
I just think it's going to be groundbreaking, and I think we're going to start. I mean, we saw the goalie on Kitchener, the very first guy, verbally committed to Clarkson like 3 days later. So this has already been brewing in the background. People have been talking, and not officially been talking, but they've been kind of reaching out. And I think when does it come out? August 1st?
I believe August 1st is when they're allowed to start writing their letters.
It's gonna be like fucking free agent frenzy on Sportsnet.
Yeah,
it's gonna be an open season.
Absolutely insane.
It's gonna be open season as soon as that day rolls around, and it's gonna be interesting to see how many BCHL and USHL guys keep their commitment, because there's going to be decoms.
Yeah,
I guarantee you there's going to be decommitments, because it's just
for sure
better the best players playing in the dub and the O and the Q. Compared to Junior A, and I think it's just going to be really, really interesting to see, how it affects D1, D3, ACHA. Who knows, man?
Yeah, I think the one more just last kind of thought I have on this topic is the transfer portal might need some restructuring, because the amount of transfers that are going to be this year too,
unreal.
With all these new, the transfer portal is going to need some serious restructuring. Like, guys are just going to be playing for 5 teams in 5 years at 5 different schools, and that's not the way it should be. Like, there needs to be some kind of just more rules put into play to make it more of a fair system and process, because it's getting kind of crazy. Yeah. That's the last thing I'll say on that topic, but groundbreaking. Can't wait to see what happens and the effect it has on junior hockey.
I'm excited, man. Excited to see.
Nice. Alrighty, buddy. Well, maybe It's been a while since we've actually just sat down and chatted like this. Obviously, last week we had the episode with Jeremy, which we got to do in the studio. That one hasn't really got a ton of traction that we were expecting, but highly recommend checking that out. Jeremy's a pretty cool guy. He's trained some really cool athletes from NHL players, MLB players, that kind of thing. So definitely check that one out if you haven't already, and check out the work that Jeremy's doing with his stuff. He's got, he might even be somebody you might be interested in contacting for yourself, for your own personal goals and whatnot. So, the Fitness Lab, the company he works for, is doing great things, especially for high performance athletes. So, highly recommend checking that one out, especially the YouTube, since we got to do that one in the studio. Well, Joey was on the call, but
I was on the call, but
I got to do it in the studio.
You got some pretty high quality clips there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, some pretty sweet clips. Yeah, for sure. They've handled all that for us. So thanks a ton again to Jeremy and to Calvin and Graham, the production team for that, for all their hard work. But let's get into the jungle, Joey. I think lots has been going on.
Some pretty fucked shit,
dude. Oh, we have a lot to talk about, actually, man.
We have a lot to talk about, man.
Yeah, I'll kind of just get started. PJHL 3 stars of the week. For the last one, the one for this week, I think comes out tomorrow or something. So this is for the last week or whatever. But Lachlan Staniforth from Mission, BC, Kelowna Rockets prospect, got 3rd star of the week with a goal and 3 assists for 4 points in 3 games. Former Kelowna Rocket Grady Lenton on the Delta Ice Sox had 5 goals in 3 games for 2nd star. And for the 2nd week in a row, Richmond Sockeyes captain Teo Lin, 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points in 4 games for the 1st star of the week. Beyond that, we got to talk about the Chilliwack Jets, dude. This team is an absolute wagon. They're 19-1-0 so far this year.
Holy fuck.
17 wins in a row. And let me just check the date on that. That was as of November 5th. They had 17 wins in a row. What's their actual record now? It's probably better. They're 21-1, dude. They're on a 19-game winning streak. This is insane. They beat Richmond in overtime the other day to keep that streak alive. I believe it was Kulikov on Chilliwack had the overtime winner. I saw
a sick name.
Pretty sweet video. Dude, they got the Ukrainian trio in Chilliwack. It is so sick. Yeah, Kulikov. Mironov, and Denisenko. They're all sick, dude. Like,
holy
this
fuck.
Chilliwack team is like, they are legit. They could beat Ridge for sure. And it's not one guy leading. Like, Jesse Bordeaux is probably their best player, but they have a lot of guys right around that point per game mark. Well, Kulikov's got the best points per game since coming over from the SJ. He's got 18 in 13 games. That's pretty good. But besides that, they're doing it by committee. 16, is he 16? Yeah, 16-year-old Deegan Holding. He's the captain of the T-Birds U17 team last year. He's almost point per game right now. He's made the prospects game roster, so he's looking good. But yeah, this Chilliwack team is unbelievable. What they're doing right now is insane. They're looking like they're better than Ridge so far, to be completely honest. Ridge is a better differential. They've pounded some guys, but it's looking crazy. So beyond that, in the Harold Britton Conference, Chilliwack in 1st, Ridge in 2nd, Abbey in 3rd. Abbey has had some weird games lately.
Abbey's on a roll.
Well,
but then they lose to like the weirdest teams.
Right, they lost to Surrey 7-0, and then blew out Pomo 9-2. Like, it's just
no sense.
And then they beat White Rock in overtime. Actually, at the game when I went and mic'd up Cody Johnson on Absurd. Shout out Cody Johnson. I think he had 5 points last night or 2 nights ago or something. Obviously, this is being recorded on Tuesday, but he made the prospects game roster for Abbey. He's looking good. After Abbey, so Abbey's in 3rd, Langley's in 4th, but Abbey's looking quite a bit better. Langley's under 500, and as far as power rankings go, I think Langley's been sliding quite a bit throughout the year. They had a decent start, but they've been slipping. Mission in 5th, just staying above Surrey right now. They're 6-13-2. Surrey 5-16-2. 2 more games played and 2 points behind Mission. And then Aldi, still yet to win a game, but they've had a couple more, more competitive efforts. So we'll just skip over that. In the Tom Shaw Conference, everyone's beating each other, dude. There's been a lot more parity. North End traded 20-year-old forward Patrick Dolan to Coastal, and Coastal has been looking really competitive. Poco, I think, has maybe slid a bit, but they're still very competitive. I also have a feeling that Poco is going to make some pretty huge ads at the deadline. It'll be interesting to see the way that the teams in the Tom Shaw Conference do add, because there's so much parity among the top 4. I mean, maybe even top 5 or 6 teams now. I mean, Grandview's goaltending is really carrying them. But it looks like North Van has decided to be a seller, just, moving Dolan on already. And I'm assuming poor Moody will probably start selling soon, or I don't know what they're going to do. But Delta's in first, Richmond in second, White Rock in third, Poco in fourth, Coastal in fifth, Grandview in sixth, and then there's a gap for North Van and Pomo. So Coastal and Grandview are going to be fighting for that 5 spot, and then the top 4, besides the game, like, their win percentage is all super similar. The only difference is really games played, so it's pretty hard to tell. It's looking like Delta is probably actually the best team right now. They've made some ads, but they had a really scary situation the other night. I want to mention briefly.
Yeah,
too.
I was gonna ask you what actually happened.
I don't know the full details yet, so I just don't really want to talk about anything. It was just a really awkward hit, and he went into the. This is Lucas Jakubek on the Delta Ice Hawks. I believe he was just named to the prospects team roster too. He's had an unreal rookie year. So he went really awkwardly into the boards. I believe he hit his head. And the game was delayed for about an hour. And he was taken to the ambulance. But the Delta Ice Hawks posted a statement today saying he's going to be okay. He's stable. So that's great to hear. Obviously, everyone was sending them their best wishes. So we wish Lucas a speedy recovery. And Delta's looking real good. But not too much else to talk about in the pitch. There's not really much point in going over the stat leaders. It's the same every time.
We don't need to really do that.
I'll mention a couple guys who've been like surging a bit more. I mean, I mentioned Cody Johnston on Abbotsford, 31 points in 22 games. He's leading the way for Abby now, and not a guy who was really on the radar for me last year, to be honest. He's been insane. So I had his teammate Rhett Sias is most improved, but I think it might be looking like it's Johnston now with the numbers he's putting up. But Sias has been good. It's still going to be tough. Besides that, not a lot has changed. Declan Warburton on Delta has shot up into the top 10 with 33 points in 22 games. I don't remember even seeing him in the top 20 before, so quite a jump from him. Besides that, not much. Jonah Usher, not sure how to pronounce that one. Sorry, Jonah. 07 on White Rock, 26 points in 21 games. He's been really good for them. He's moved into the top 20, but besides that, nobody else new in here. Zach LaGrange still leading the league with a whopping 46 points in 18 games. Theo Cochin's back in the lineup, and he's got 39 points in 14 games. Nolan Boucher, 40 points in 18 games. That's Ridge's first line. And then in second place in the league in points, we got Mateo Schoberg on Delta mixed in there. 26 goals in 23 games still, and 45 points. So that's pretty much it as far as the pitch goes.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Talk about the prospects rosters, but let's let you give a KI recap, and then we'll get into the prospects rosters first.
Sounds good. Yeah. Well, we can just go off who's hot. How about them Centennials?
8-0-2 in their last 10, right? Merritt?
I was almost tempted to repost it on my story, the power rankings this week. I was just this close to fucking clicking that and tagging Wes in it.
McLeod effect.
Yeah, the McLeod effect, dude. I swear to God, what are they? They're at a 900 point percentage in their last 10. So they're 8-0-2. So their only 2 losses have been in overtime.
And they beat some good teams too. Like, it's not like they're just pounding shitters. They are having good games against good teams.
I think they lost 1-0 to Revelstoke in overtime. And that's one
and
of
then
their
they
OT
beat them in
losses.
shootout.
They beat them in a shootout earlier.
Earlier in the year,
the
sorry.
season.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. But yeah, the Sents look like a playoff team, man. I'm not gonna lie, they look like a playoff team. I'm just pulling up the standings right now. The Centennials are currently above Revelstoke, 1 point above Revelstoke. They do have 3 more games played though.
Okay.
So as for the Bill Olhausen division, this is the new division with Princeton and Revelstoke in it. Mm-hmm. Princeton is just running away. Like they're
just dominating, eh?
They're just dominating. They beat Revy 4-1 the other night. And it just looks like, Princeton is just gonna run away with that division, and I think Revelstoke's gonna have to settle for second for the first time in a while. I mean, they got they just didn't look like they could get the job done against Princeton that last night. They when they lost 4-1, they're outshot pretty bad, like by 10 or 12, which is not normal.
Really?
And I know. So it's looking like a Princeton, another Princeton division championship. They're up by 9 points right now. They do have three more games played than Revy. So assuming Revy wins all their games, they're still going to be 3 points ahead. It'll even out, but those in division games are going to be huge for them. Sycamoose is like a little bit further down. They're 18 points in 16 games, so they're 7-5. They look like they're probably going to take out the 4th spot, and then Kelowna and Osoyoos are going to round out the bottom. As for the other division in the West Conference, not the West Conference, the Okanagan Conference, 100 Mile House. I can't believe it. They're leading the Doug Burks division, the new Doug Burks. Yeah. Kamloops is right behind them, 2 points behind them, with 1 less game played. And your Chase Heat have 18 points in 17 games. They're 8-7, and they are only 3 points back of a division being the top of the division. And then the 2 expansion teams, Quesnel and Williams Lake, rounding out the bottom there. Yeah, not too much to say about those teams. To a T, they're all pretty similar. Mm-hmm. And then Quesnel and Williams Lake kind of drop off a little bit. Quesnel obviously selling a little bit. They traded Hager. They traded away their starting goalie to Kimberly, who we'll move on to now in the Eddie Mountain division, moving over to the what's the name of that conference? Not the Okanagan Shuswap. Anyways, the Eddie Mountain division. Kimberly is looking like a really good team this year, like an absolute wagon. They're 13-3. So for reference, the Princeton Posse are 15-2 in 18 games. The Kimberly Dynamiters are 13-3, and probably, I would say, a harder division. Maybe, I'm not 100%. They're pretty similar. And then Columbia Valley is significantly below them with only 20 points. So I'd honestly say the Bill Olhausen with Revelstoke, Merritt, and Princeton is a little more competitive right now. In third, we have Creston Valley with 19 games played. They're 8-10. And then we have Fernie, the weird team, with only 13 games played at this point, which still makes just absolutely no sense. They're going to have to start having some fucking midweek games or something. But they're technically, if they stay on the same pace that they are at, they will be in second.
Okay. Like percentage wise.
Like percentage wise, they have the second best points percentage, but they're 7-4, 16 points in 13 games. And then Golden rounding out the bottom there. And then we have the Neil Murdoch, which is very tight as well, with Beaver Valley, Grand Forks, and Nelson all within 3 points of each other, and all within 1 game played of each other. And then we have Castlegar and Spokane. Unfortunately, Spokane is not looking like they're going to be having the best of years. They're 1-12. And yeah, Castlegar is just kind of a mediocre team that looks like they're going to round out that division and probably be a first round team. And then as for any statistical, guys that popping off the page, Matthew Langdon is a goal per game right now for Princeton. 18 goals in 18 games to go along with 14 assists for 32 points in 18 games, which is just unreal. And I got to shout out Asher Lucas on Williams Lake. He's a.
Oh man, he's 16.
He's an 08.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
24 points in 15 games on Williams Lake. He's good. That's good for 4th in the league, 4th in the KI on a team that's struggling. So I don't know if he's.
Did he get drafted?
I have no idea. I know for a fact he made the prospects game.
That's insane. Yeah, I know he made the prospects game, and this was your rookie of the year pick, right?
This was my sleeper rookie of the year pick. I wanted Rusnak to win, who is 7th in the league in points right now for 100 mile.
Right. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he got drafted by Seattle.
Okay, so Seattle draft pick.
But it looks like in the 11th round, it looks like Seattle might have got a steal, dude. He's doing this at 16. That is insanely hard to do.
He's doing very, very well.
Yeah.
And yeah, Ethan Davey rounds out the top 5, which is crazy because he was always a bitch to play against, but I guess he's putting up points this year. He's backing it up. He is a little bit. He's backing it up with the visor on. That guy chirps like no tomorrow. So I actually wish him the best. And then Taylor Haggerty is leading the league in points per game. But guess what? Fernie's only played 13 games. Guess how many points Haggerty has? He has 24 points in 13 games. But they've only played 13 games.
He's like almost 2 points per game clip.
He is the highest point per game clip. However, his team has not played enough games for him to be in the top 5. So I just thought I'd mention him. And yeah, so other than that, did you see Hager's goal?
Yes. Sorry, Hager. I thought you meant Haggerty for a second. Yes, I did.
Yeah. So he got traded. For those who don't know,
that's insane, dude.
I don't know if it was his first game or his second game or whatever, but on home ice.
I thought it was his first. But...
Shutout, goal, first win, first shutout, first goal. I think that was the caption when they posted it. It was unreal. Really good for Josh. Really proud of Josh.
What a night.
Yeah, what a night, eh? Really proud of Josh.
Doesn't get better than that.
No, yeah, dude. And then I guess I should read out the stars of the week.
Yeah.
Well, forward on merit, Sam. Oh my God, Sam, your last name is fucking impossible to say. Giangualano, I think, is his last.
Sounded like a good try.
9 points in 3 games. Landon Jans on 100 mile with 4 points in 2 games as the defenseman star of the week. And Riley Deck had a win and a shootout loss or an overtime loss, and he stopped 74-78 in those 2 games. So some good performances overall. But Owen, you want to lead us into the All-Star? What is it? The All-Star Prospects game? All-Star game?
Yeah, they call it the BCHC Prospects game. So I think this is the 3rd year they've been doing this. Mm-hmm. But the point is to get, primarily 07 and 08. I think it says you get a maximum of 6 06s that are eligible to be selected. So a lot harder to make it as an 06 18-year-old. But yeah, so I'll just kind of run through the PJHL roster here and just make any comments I see fit. And Joe, I guess he'll kind of do the same after. Yeah. But Josh Valet, Ridge Meadows from playing for Ridge Meadows. He's no 6 goalie, obviously. I mean, it's hard to argue his numbers, but he's in Ridge. So
yeah.
And then Armand Kayla, he's from 07 from Delta. He's on the Sockeyes. He's WHL affiliated. I'm actually not sure which team, but I know he's affiliated with a WHL team. And then we got onto the defenseman, Tyler Blatz, 06 defenseman. He was on the prospects game last year. He plays for Ridge. He's from Langley. Played for the T-Birds with Rylan actually for a few years. He's an absolute beauty. And then we got Miller Bruckshaw from the Delta Ice Hawks, 07 from Delta. Don't know a ton about him, but I mean, he's obviously Delta's been great this year, and he's been one of their pieces. So on to Noah Marshall from Chilliwack. This guy he's an 07 and he's from Chilliwack as well. He's been an absolute menace for the Jets. He's put up crazy numbers. So yeah, well deserved for him there. And then another Chilliwack Jet, Lachlan Staniforth, who like we've talked about him a few times already, from Mission, BC. Really nice kid. I mean, I've only met him I think once or twice, but he's been great for Chilliwack, and obviously he was with the Kelowna Rockets at the start of the year, and he's still affiliated with them. After Stanny, we got Ryan Howe. He's actually from Seattle. Plays for the Langley Trappers, and he's been one of their best defensemen, especially as an 07. So yeah, I think he deserves to be there as well. And it's good to see that, there's guys from a few different teams, and it's not just a guy from Langley, and it's not just Ridge, Richmond, Delta, Chilliwack. But Speaking of Richmond, our last defenseman, Nathan Gray from Richmond, BC. He's a 16-year-old, though, plays for the Sockeyes as well, and he is a Swift Current Broncos prospect, so pretty tough to argue that. I believe he started the year this year in the WHL, and then ended up joining Richmond, so you really can't argue that. As for the forwards, Lucas Davidson of North Van, he's an 06, but he was my pick for Rookie of the Year. He's leading rookies in points. Cody Johnson from Langley, BC, another 06. He plays for Abbotsford, and I mentioned him earlier. He's been on a heater lately, putting up some really good numbers. Bodie Bowden from Safety Harbor, Florida, plays for the Richmond Sockeyes. He's been putting up some great numbers, so he's another one of the 06s on the team. There's 4 forwards, and then the guys I mentioned, Valet on Ridge is an 06, and Blatz on D, and you're only allowed 6 of them, like we said. Then we got Lucas Jakobek from the Delta Ice Hawks, who had that injury last week. So hopefully he's healthy and ready to go in for this. Jonah Usher from the White Rock Whalers, 07 from Surrey, mentioned he just broke into the top 20 on the points list. He's had a great year for White Rock up front, probably been their best forward. Then we got Max Shin from the Richmond Sockeyes from Richmond, BC, 07 with some great numbers this year. Oliver Nottingham from New West. He was on Grandview last year and I believe played in this game as well. But he's been one of Coastal's best players. I think their first line center. And then we got Dalton Toma from Langley, plays for Ridge. He actually affiliated for Surrey in the playoffs last year and was like Surrey's best player. So I'm not surprised to see him here. He's pretty good. We got Deegan Holding, who I mentioned earlier, is a 16-year-old who's putting up near point per game numbers in Chilliwack. He was the captain of the Fraser Valley Thunderbirds, I think U17 team last year. Maybe U17, that sounds right. Abraham Brown on the Langley Trappers put up good numbers this year on Langley. So again, I mean, the forward group, a lot of variety, lots of different teams. So I was glad to see that. Then finally, rounding it out, Nick Kovich, who was a 4th-round pick in the WHL draft to the Red Deer Rebels, plays for the Richmond Sockeyes. He's 16-year-old, and he's nasty, so he deserves to be there. As far as like snubs or anything, I think last year there was honestly a few guys who I was like, how on earth are these guys like not in the game? I was pretty surprised not to see Charlie Gardner from Poco, but I mean, you're only allowed 606s like we talked about. Nikita Kulikov from Chilliwack. I mean, he's only played 13 games, but based on his numbers, I think he probably should have been there. And then I will say it's kind of tough for guys on teams like Mission or just, teams who aren't quite as good
right,
to get the exposure, right? Like guys like Cooper Crow and Mission, I think if he was playing for Ridge, I mean, he would be putting up insane numbers.
Well, yeah.
So he's got 11 goals, 16 points in 20 games for Mission. Ashton Holbeach too has 16 points in 20 games, and it's like if those guys were playing on different teams, their numbers would be a hell of a lot different. And then even in Surrey, like Neeland Vachel, he's in 06, but he's put up really good numbers. And if he was elsewhere, like he's probably racking it up. So it would be nice to see maybe a little more of that considered instead of just like the top points leaders. But overall, like I think they made the right decisions for the most part here. And I think it's going to be a fun, competitive game again. It's cool to see 4 WHL affiliated players on the roster. So you want to take us into the KI team?
Yeah, quite a few more WHL players than I thought, actually,
there's a lot.
In the KI. I didn't do as much research on everyone. I did more just focusing on the guys that are WHL affiliated. But we'll start off with the goalies here. Brenner Fife is my roommate's brother. So right away, I'm already like my old roommate and Revelstoke's brother, Kessler Fife. He was my roommate in Revy my second year, and I never actually met him, but I met his family, and his dad always used to pump his tires, so I think he's pretty solid. He's put up some really really good numbers on Kamloops this year, and then same with Michael Mikowski on Sicamous. Both Alberta natives, Brenner from Lethbridge and Mikowski from Okotoks. Brenner's also right-handed, which is why I liked him, because he catches the same way as me. Hey, Owen. So, but yeah,
right glove.
I was so surprised when I saw 4 of the 6 defensemen that are getting selected to the KI prospects game are drafted to the Dub. So I did a little research. Aaron Zolenick is a pick to Portland. I don't know when he went. When did he go? He's a Thompson Blazers guy, and he was taken to Portland. He played U17 AAA last year, and he put up 48 points in 35 games as an underager, and then played with Kamloops for. I remember playing. Oh no, I didn't play against him. There was another guy on Kamloops that I played against, but anyways, he's doing pretty solid this year. Brett Woodard is the brother of Ty Woodard, for one. He's from Squamish, BC. He's got 1 point in 5 games for 100 Mile, but he came down from Powell River, where he played 4 games for Powell River, and he was the captain of Fraser Valley U17 last year.
Okay.
He was taken. When was he taken? He was taken in the 13th round by Seattle in 2022. So looking like he might be a sleeper pick as well, like you were saying.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Kieran Thibault from Kamloops, BC. He also this is the guy I remembered because he played in the playoffs for Kamloops last season, and he was unreal. Like, he could skate so good. He's got 4 points in 15 games for Kamloops this year, and he was taken by Prince George in the 7th round in his year. Yeah, I know. So some pretty high picks here. We got Ben Philponi. He plays on the Cascar Rebels. He's also from Kamloops.
He played for Surrey last year.
Yeah, he's also from Kamloops. 6'2", 200. Not a single, actually one defenseman under 6 foot. But the rest of them are all either 6'2" or above. So some big boys. Rhett Surface, a 7th round pick to Kelowna in the Bantam draft. He's where did he play? He played for Rink, and then he's on Merit now. He's got a goal in 6 games for Merit, and he pretty much played Rink. He played for every fucking team on Rink. Holy, I'm just looking at ZP right now. It's unreal. And then the last defenseman, Levi Dewitt, 6'2", 190. He's an 08 from Sicamous, BC. Playing for Sicky, a little hometown hero guy. Don't know too much about him, but 6'2", 190 at 16 is pretty fucking huge. So pretty solid decor there.
Yeah, that's insane.
And then we go to the forward core. Asher Lucas, the guy we were just talking about, you were saying. Was he your pick did you make a pick for Rookie of the Year in the KI?
No, I didn't make a pick for the KI.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, this guy's a JPHL. He got drafted out of the JP to, where did he get picked? He got taken really late to Seattle, wasn't it? Like an 11th round pick to Seattle. And he's got an insane amount of points this year. He's on pace for 70 points in 44 games. He's got 24 and 15. Really having a really good year. Luca Del Moore on Kamloops. I don't think I played against this guy actually last year, but I recognize his name a little bit. He's having a really solid player for Kamloops. Phoenix Flett, another dub draft pick. He's got playing for Grand Forks right now. He's got 16. He's got 1 goal or 1 assist in 2 games, but he just came down from Devon Extreme in the AJ.
Yeah, I saw that.
So he's looking solid as well. Another dub guy. And then Berkeley Gross was another player that I mentioned on Crescent Valley, having a solid year. He's on the first page for points. Dylan Ruff moving down, North Vancouver guy. Another dub draft pick, taken number in the 7th round for Victoria. And he played for Rink last year, I think. And also Team Alberta, which is pretty cool, like at the Brick. And then made Alberta Cup as well. He had 4 points in 5 games at the Alberta Cup as well. But yeah, he played North Shore Warriors. What is that? Is that new West Van?
Yeah, that's the new West. Yeah, well, West Van got changed or rebranded to
point per game last year, and then now he's on Merit. He's got 12 points in 16 games. Jaden Rusnak, my sleeper pick for Rookie of the Year. He was I think he's 7th in the league right now in points. Really solid for 100 Mile. Raiko Roju. He's a Tri-Cities pick. He actually played games last year and this year. And then was sent down. He played Pacific Coast last year. He had 19 points in 29 games. And then played 3 games for Tri-City as well last year, which makes sense because Tri-City was fucking brutal. This year, two games as well with Tri-Cities, and then now he's with Grand Forks. He's got 4 points in 2 games. Just really getting started, really. And then the last guy, Clayton Gilmore, is also the last WHL pick. So that's a total of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dub picks on the KIJHL prospects game, which is pretty solid.
That's crazy.
Another Tri-Cities pick. He's playing for Sicky right now. He's got 12 points in 12 games, point per game pace, and he was selected in the 8th round by Tri-Cities in the 2022 Bantam draft. The last WHL pick. And then we got Noah Paulson on the Kamloops Storm, an 07 from Kamloops, Kaylin Swanson, an 08 from Williams Lake, playing for Williams Lake Mustangs this year. Braden Rotach, he's an 07 from Castlegar, playing for a lot of hometown heroes this year. And we got Luke Davies, who I actually saw was putting up quite a few points for Kimberley this year as an 06 from Calgary, Alberta. So I think we've taken up enough time. Feels like I've been talking forever here.
No, it's all good. Yeah, I mean, so the prospects game is going to be played in Langley this year. Joe, do you have the date there on your screen anywhere?
Prospects game will take place on Tuesday, November 19th at the George Preston Recreation Center in Langley, BC.
There you go. So anyone who's interested in checking that out, there will be a lot of talent on display. I mean, 14 total WHL draft picks or affiliated players if they weren't drafted maybe. But now that we've covered all that, we'll get into talking some VI, which actually I guess we can mention now our guest for today, the head coach of the Kerry Park Islanders. I mean, Joey, you brought him up earlier, but Jake Ebner, it was nice to finally get back into talking some VI, and especially with the insane goalie fight that happened that we posted about. Maybe let's talk about this goalie fight quick, the clip we posted before, but because we hopefully, based on that fight and what the Instagrams looked like, hopefully we got some new VI listeners this episode, especially since we're interviewing a VI coach. But what do you think of that clip as a 10D yourself, Joey? Well, like pretty insane. Don't really expect it.
I'm not really much of a fighter, but I think it was pretty fucking unreal. What do you think? I don't know.
Well, I just didn't expect it. Like, it was a hit in the corner, and it wasn't like a line brawl or anything. And then they just, all of a sudden, they're fighting at center. And
they must have looked at each other and then just been like, yeah, what the fuck?
I guess
like,
so.
Like we're going, eh? Like, they were just looking for it.
Yeah, what a great fight. Like, they both, like, went down, back up, and fought again, went back down again. I mean, it looked like Jesse Pye certainly got the better of it, but yeah. Overall, I mean, it was a great fight. You love to see it. I don't care who wins or loses. It was, and the benches, absolutely electric. So props to Victoria and Sanet.
The guy on the end of the Victoria bench is just losing his mind.
Captain, isn't it?
He's like banging his stick on the other team's bench. Yeah. He's losing his.
Is it who? Isn't I can't tell. Is that Anthony Wilson? I saw someone comment about it.
I think it is their captain. He's like banging. He's like reaching over and like banging the stick on the other team's bench. It's so funny.
Love to see it, boys. That was unbelievable. So yeah, we had to talk about that clip.
And we just see you just see at the very end of the clip, you see the backup goalie just being like, "Fuck me!" Like he's getting ready to go in for the last 10. He's like, "Fuck sakes!"
5-1
game. He's getting ready to go back in. He's like, "Fuck sakes, man! I don't want to fucking play." But yeah, no, I played against Pye when he was in on Saanich my second year in Cyclone. Or no, was it my? It might have been last. Was Saanich in the
Saanich
last year? Yeah, if I played against him last year, so I probably know a bunch of guys on that team actually, really. But yeah, no, that was a pretty fucked clip. You see, what's his name signed in for Powell River?
Westhaver.
Was he on Saanich or was?
Yeah, we should mention that.
Because
I think he was on Saanich.
He was we beat Saanich. He I think he had a couple goals.
Yeah, I got it right here, Joey. Yeah, he had 15 goals in 16 games, 22 points this year for Saanich, and he just got signed to the Powell River Kings of the BCHL. Well, so
congrats to him,
congrats to Jake Westhaver. Yeah, good shit. You love to see guys getting called up and getting a shot from the leagues that we're covering. So now that we kind of talked about the clip, and let's get into it a bit. So we got to start by talking about Kerry Park's first line, because holy shit. Jake gets into it into the interview a bit today, but even since then, they have not slowed down. Carson Brown is 21 goals and 43 points in 19 games. And again, this guy started the year slow. I think he had 4 points in his first 5 games. Slow for his standards. His line mate, Jacob Morrison, second in the league in points with 16 goals, 20 assists for 36 points in 19 games. And then their line mate, Joby Pearson, who's only played 11 games, has 26 points. So Joby Pearson actually still has the best points per game in the league. insane what their first line's doing. Beyond their first line, Brody Lindahl of Nanaimo, 31 points in 16 games. He's been on fire. And then, as always, the Port Alberni rookies, Liam Smith, Sean Richards, and looks like their line mate Grayson Salmon is either hurt or, it looks like he's injured because he's still only got 21 points in 15 games, whereas Smith and Richards are at 31 and 30 in 20 and 21 games respectively. So, but yeah, and then besides that, I mean, we touched on West Haver, so that's a huge blow for Saanich, who was already not looking too hot this year. But Zion Lavoie, West Shore Wolves, I believe I saw that he's their captain this year. So congrats to him, but he's putting up some crazy numbers, 28 points in 19 games. And then it looks like his line mates, I would assume from West Shore, Parker Atkinson and Jackson Campbell, also putting up some pretty good numbers. So that's pretty much it for the VI stats. Oh, one more thing. Jacob Koulis on Campbell River. I saw he got called up to play some BCHL games. I don't think he signed, but I saw he got called up, so props to him. He's from Stowe, Massachusetts. As for the standings, Kerry Park has been the hottest team in the league. Again, awesome that we got to sit down with Jake. They're 13-4-1, and they started like 500. So they've been lighting it up. I would not be surprised to see them win this division by the end of the year. But with that being said, Peninsula's a wagon too. They only have one regulation loss, and Peninsula have really been getting it done by committee. Lots of players right around point per game, but nobody in particular is like carrying the team at all. Also looks like they've had really good goaltending from both tendies. So just like a really well-rounded, good defensive team that looks like Peninsula's established this year. They've been 16-1-2, pretty good. And then West Shore 14-2-2 right behind them. And Kerry Park 13-4-1. Victoria's at about 500. Saanich is a bottom feeder, and without West Haver, it's looking rough. As for the North Division, Campbell River still in first. Port Alberni just behind, 2 points back of them. It's a dogfight right now for first place. Nanaimo still 4 games at hand on Port Alberni, but they've slowed down a little. They're 10-6-1, 21 points. They're 9 points back with 4 games at hand. After that, Comox 7-12-2. They've been slipping, Joey. They haven't looked too great, but I know they have picked up a couple kids from the AJ. They got someone from Devon, and they got someone from Saskatchewan as well. So maybe you will see them pick it up, but Cowichan surging might catch Comox. I didn't think this was possible at the start of the year, but Cowichan might gain some ground. Oceanside's still a bottom feeder, but keep an eye on Comox and Cowichan for that last spot. But I hope Comox can pull it together, for Candy and Charlton's sake. That's pretty much all I got for the VI, Joe. Obviously, we're doing our best to recap it, but this week we got a great interview. Former assistant coach of mine, Jake. A great relationship with Jake. He's an awesome coach, so I'm really glad to see how much success he's having in Kerry Park this year. They've had a great team, some great players, and Jake also had a crazy playing career himself. He was a point per game player in the SJHL. Went to Lindenwood and played 4 years of ACHA there before Lindenwood was a D1 team. Actually ended up being the all-time leading goal scorer at Lindenwood, and then played a year of pro in Australia. So besides his coaching career, Jake had a ton of cool stories for us, so we can't wait for you guys to hear it. We'll send it over to him right now.
Owen, I remember my first hockey game, the excitement of watching hockey live, the chill of the ice, and the slam of a full NHL hockey player slamming against the boards. It was just nothing like it. I remember me and you going to the outdoor game at the Heritage Classic in Vancouver there. I also remember, Brock Besser almost tearing the roof off the building when if he would have scored a third goal to get a hat trick. We watched the Canucks win a couple times, which was pretty sweet. So I want to introduce you to a ticketing service called Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes it getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. My personal experience, I was just looking at the Kansas City Chiefs playing the Broncos this Sunday. They had a whole bunch going on, but I love how they sort all your tickets into the deals called Super, and then they even have the cheapest tickets or whatever you need. This app really surprised me by showing me, they had this one seats for like $120 off. It was pretty insane and it weren't upper bowl either. There was like in the middle by the sideline. It was pretty sweet. Customize your spot. Game Time Picks curation makes it easier to save on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc.
All-in pricing. Toggling this feature allows total upfront, no surprise fees at checkout. You can even get your seat view with a panoramic view from the seat and the app before you buy. The lowest price guarantee or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. All right, Owen, the quest for the Stanley Cup starts now. The puck's dropping on the 2024-2025 season. Get in on all the action at the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple, like picking a team to win. Just go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bets. I was looking at the lines. Of course, the Canucks are favored, minus 205 against the Flames, because the Flames are, they're the Flames. So, bet maybe take that one. Or we also got, the Oil. Or we could bet the Canucks to win the Stanley Cup as well, plus 1,800. And if you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice.
Okay, I am very excited to bring on our next guest. In his playing career, he spent a couple years in the SJHL for the Melfort Mustangs before playing 4 years of ACHA for Lindenwood University. After that, he actually played a year abroad for the Melbourne Mustangs in the Australian International Hockey League. Last year, he was the assistant coach of the Mission City Outlaws, and this year he's been the head coach of the Park Islanders of the VIJHL. Super excited to bring on Jake Ebner. Jake, how are you doing?
Good, Ellie. How you doing, bud?
Great.
Lovely to have you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Love the intro.
Yeah, he's hyped you up there for a while there. That was probably the longest intro we've had.
Yeah, thanks.
I'll take it.
One of the longer ones, yeah. well, we have the playing career and the coaching career, which usually we don't have as long of a playing career with our interviews. So maybe we'll just kind of start there. I mean, obviously I know you're from Poco, but yeah. What the beginning of your hockey journey as a player? Growing up, where did you play, and just kind of how did your career progress from there?
Yeah, minor hockey started in Port Coquitlam. Was there. My first year of rep was Adam A. Back then it was Adam minor major, so you only played in your one birth year. Pretty crazy group of players we had. Devin Dubinick was actually one of our goalies.
Oh wow!
Didn't know at the time but then obviously he moved to Calgary after that season, and then obviously he became who he was. So he was one of three goalies. Right. All played junior A or higher eventually. So pretty high class there. And then one of our player and friend that moved to Poco that year was a fourth rounder to LA as well. So I think once we all got to Bantam, my second year, it's Poco, small association. I think 12 of the 18 skaters played junior A or higher. So
wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and there's a couple guys. There was a few guys older than us too. So our street hockey games were quite competitive.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Is it to rip it up?
Oh yeah, take over the tennis courts in Southside Port Coquitlam and at our hockey nets.
Nice. Yeah. And then so obviously, when you got to Bantam, and you kind of start having to choose where to play. Did you just play all of your midget in Poco before you moved on to junior, or how did the transition to junior kind of happen for you?
Well, after Bantam, my spring coach was the head coach of the Poco Buckaroos, who's the junior B team at the time. And I thought I was going to make it. Going into my first junior camp, I was so inexperienced that I wasn't prepared for it. And yeah, I played 1 year midget A, AAA in Poco, and then from there I went to Grandview Steelers for 2 years. And Aldo Bruno was still the coach then, and he's still there now, so he's been there for quite some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle Turris was on my team my second year there. And
that's cool.
Yeah, he was 14, and just like you could tell he was going. Kid's shot was incredible back then too.
Yeah,
we had a good run that year. We were up 3-0. It was North Delta Flyers at the time, and then they came back, forced us Game 7, and then we were playing the Ice Hawks in the semifinals. We were down 0-3, forced to Game 7, and then eventually lost. So a lot of games that year, which is a good experience for moving forward to the SJHL in the next year.
So what did that jump look like even back then?
Yeah, definitely much different. But the thing with the SJHL is you're allowed 10, 20-year-olds, right? So even though I'm born in October, so 18 starting out and then turning 19. But there's some big boys in that league for sure. It's definitely a more defensive league than the BCHL at the time. But you're playing, most teams pretty much dress 10, 20-year-olds too. So it's an older league in that sense. And they're just full-grown men at that point.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, we were playing Yorkton, and from the year previous, the player was suspended. His name was Barry Sparvier. And his first game back was in Melfort. And it was like, I don't know, 20, 25 games into the season. And he's just the scariest man I've ever seen at the time. Like, I don't think he touched the puck in warm up. He was just at the red line the whole time.
I bet you the league looked a little different from back then, eh?
Yeah.
Than compared as now.
For sure. Yeah. I think the BCHL, BCHL was just like probably more like the dub at the time, like just big guys but a lot of skill as well. And that tough league for sure. Obviously nowadays it's more based on skill and speed. I'm sure there's still lots of big hits and everything, but just the guys back then, it was so much different for sure. Now that I've been coaching in the league for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Owen?
Yeah. What was the actual experience like living in Melfort? I'm sure that was pretty different from obviously growing up in Poco.
Yeah, it was definitely quite a change. I actually had 2 close friends playing there the year prior. That's kind of how I got there. And I drove with one of them my first year. So it's like leaving BC for the first time, and then you get into Calgary, Alberta area, and you drive through Alberta, and then it's like there's absolutely nothing for the next 8 hours. You're just like, where are we going? And then you pass Saskatoon, you get near Saskatoon, and you're like, oh, okay, there's a decent sized city, and then you drive by that in like 5 minutes, and then you're back to looking at nothing.
Yeah.
Melfort's like 6,500 people when I played.
Okay.
Yeah, it took a little bit of getting used to, but once we got started, everything just becomes comfortable. We were fortunate enough to have quite a few guys there early on, so we were skating pretty early, just like our own skates, just scrimmaging. Nice. So like 2-3 times a week, and then we played in a 3-on-3 tournament in Saskatoon. So it was easy to like just transition and just be playing hockey every day.
That's awesome. Yeah, I guess sorry, you go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, how did your SJ career kind of continue after that? Like you get to Melfort, and then and how'd it go? Like how'd it treat you?
So first practice after the team was signed, myself and my 2 roommates showed up late for the first practice. And then we ended up getting bag skated a bit, like the whole team, and then we were stretching, and our coach just going around the circle, and he's like, just so you guys know, we skated because oh no, you know what? I'm actually wrong. They were skating before we even got there. So he was bag skating the whole team until all of us were on the ice. So our coach loved to bag skate us. So we do this one that's called Sweet 16. Ellie, I did it a little bit with you guys, but centers on one goal line, wingers on the boards, D goalies on the other goal line and then wingers on the other side. And you go down and back twice, and then it's a rotate shift. So one time rounds 8, 2 times 16. They were at Sweet 64 by the time I got on the ice. And my buddy, and my buddy was a 20-year-old, and he's eating breakfast in the stands. So I even ended up getting up to, I think, Sweet 24 myself. So it was hell. So anyway, back to the stretching part. He's announcing all three of us are out of the first game day lineup. And I'm like, fuck sakes, just got here. Like, how does this happen? Luckily, he gave us an opportunity, an exhibition and stuff to earn our spot back. So I played the home opener.
That's good. At least you missed the home opener there.
Yeah, no, it was cool because first time, like, with the lights off and all that kind of stuff. So it felt like at the time the show, right? Yeah. It started off pretty good, and then I was kind of in and out of the lineup here and there. Got back at Christmas time. My grandma passed away like 2 days later, so I went home for 10 days. Came back and just couldn't get back into it. So I was out of the lineup quite a bit, and we had some injuries to our defensive side of things, and I was like, I can play D as well. Put me in, and I played the rest of the year defense. So all through playoffs as well. Yeah. So I went, in our exit interviews, I was like, I want to go to D. I just want to play defense because it was easy. The transition was easy. Playing a forward, I knew where the puck needed to go. Things like that. Back then, there was still the old rules too. Like, you could hook the guys trying to skate in on the forecheck. And then the following year, the rules switched. And the shootout came and all that stuff. So it was a bit different, yeah. And then we
the next year, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say my 20-year-old year, we had a really good team and came up short to Humboldt in Game 7. And they ended up winning, and I think the winner of that series either team would have won the league that year.
Gotcha. Yeah, sorry. So I was just gonna ask about, I mean, your numbers in your 20 year were pretty good. Were you playing D that whole year?
No, I went back to forward that year.
You went back. Okay. Just wanted to
know. Yeah. Our power play was disgusting. Like, I think we got up to like a 37% at one point.
Oh my goodness.
Jeez. Yeah. Back then that must have been unreal.
Oh God, yeah. I don't think it finished there, but I think we got up there, and we were high 30s, mid to high 30s most of the year.
Wow,
that's unreal, man.
Yeah.
So how do you find your way to the ACHA back then?
Oh man, that was a ride. I had never had the conversation of like school was ever an option for me. Never planned it out or anything.
Oh, okay.
And I was just playing hockey and figured junior A was it. And the first game of my 20-year-old year in the SJ, we're playing Flin Flon at home, and I spoke to Ferris State's head scout. They play against Michigan. I think they're in that conference.
Yeah.
And asked me all these questions. Like, I can vividly remember the interview to this day because I've never had one like it before. Just, what do my parents do? Where did my sister and brother go to school? It's like, why does it matter? I'm just here to play hockey kind of thing. So I took my SATs at 20 for the first time. Like 3.5 years removed to high school. No calculator.
What'd you get on it?
I don't even know. all I know is at the SJHL showcase, that same guy was there talking to my coach, and I was 4 feet beside him, and he didn't even turn and look at me. So that avenue was pretty cut off. And then one of my best friends joined us that year. He's a goalie, and he played with myself and Poco as well. And we were talking about going to some schools, and he came across Utah Valley State. And then we met the coach and his wife, and we talked to them separately, and then we reconvened, and we're just like, there's no chance we're going to that school. We don't know what it is. And just the visual of the two of them, we were like, there's no chance. And an older friend of ours who, again, is a goalie, was playing at Lindenwood, and he reached out to my buddy Robbie, and he was like, you guys should come out here. And we spoke to the coach, and then the money that we had to spend was reasonable. So we just headed out there, and then, we went with another friend who was playing men's league the year before, but he played junior A, finished out junior B the year prior to that, and just had nowhere to play. And next thing you know, we were 4 years straight to the national finals and won twice.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I think. Are you guys the leaders for national championships at the ACHA level? I think.
I believe so. Yeah, which is crazy
Yeah.
because the program started in like 2006, and there's I want to say like 50 something teams in that that league, I guess you'd say. And now they're 3 years into NCAA Division One, so it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm sure looking back at that, since it was an ACHL program while you were there, and you see now they're playing D1 and guys are committing there. It's pretty incredible that you were part of that program. I also see that you actually ended up becoming the leading goal scorer of the ACHA team's history. What was that like for you?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, like I said, our team was my sophomore year. Our team was it was filled with guys from the North American League. We added a few BCHL players, and then our freshman class. So we were way too good for the league. And then our coach was Rick Zombo, who played 12 years for in the NHL, and he was this Blues alumni. So we played the Blues. Yeah. We played the Blues alumni in a charity game, and they play local beer leagues just to stay prepared for their the alumni tournaments. Yeah. And he was like, "That's the best game we've ever played, like anytime." And he's like, "I want to be a part of it." He joined us the next year, and yeah, we ran like a D1 program. We had him as a coach. That was, I'm playing the ACHA, and I had the best coach I've ever had in my life, and like best hockey mentor as well, just with all his knowledge and everything. Right. I think he played World Juniors in the 80s as well, and won a championship with North Dakota. So knowledgeable guy. And he just got released prior to this season. So he had been there from 2008 till last year.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, it sounds like you had a pretty unbelievable experience there. Joe, since you're playing ACHA now, Joe, do you have any more questions for him about all that before we move on to the next step?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't know if you knew that I was I'm in that levels now here.
Yeah, I remember. I think in your guys' first couple episodes we talked about it. Where are you playing?
I'm playing at Drury.
Drury, okay, yeah. What state is that in?
Excuse me, sorry.
You're good.
What's that? Sorry.
What state is that in?
Yeah, I'm in southern Missouri in Springfield here, so a little bit little south of where you were.
Yeah, right on. Is that a newer program?
Yeah. Yeah, we're a first year D1 program, but sorry, I'm fucking choking.
I filled up my water before the interview.
Yeah, I need some right now.
You're good, Joe.
Shit's going around.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're a first year program.
Right on.
And yeah, we just got ranked number 11.
Nice.
This year. Yeah. So we got a whole bunch of Canadians down here. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's kind of how Lindenwood was when I first got there. There's a ton of Canadians. I think we had 12 Canadians my first year, a mix from Ontario and BC. And the guy who started it was like a roller hockey coach, actually. And then he actually coaches like 15 different programs there, but now he's the golf coach. And really? when we got there, we didn't know what to expect. We were ranked 8th, we were ranked 10th at the time, and then we made the finals that year. Played Illinois, who I'm surprised hasn't made the jump to D1 yet. But with the CHL thing goes through, I'm sure they'll be one of the programs that moves on to D1. But
hopefully,
yeah.
But yeah, it was, and then my freshman class went to 4 straight finals, won 2, and then the last one we lost in overtime.
That's hard to do if you don't know the way the tournament works.
Yeah.
Like the 5 games in 5 days type thing.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if it's still the same as when it was back then, but that's how it works now.
Yeah, so I want to say that when you were first and second seed, you got a bye in the first round.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong on that, but I think that's how it worked. Although we were ranked first going in the first year that we won, and I remember playing a team and we smoked them like 13-2. They just somehow got into it. One of our guys had
like a low seed or whatever.
Yeah.
How many teams made it?
It was a 16-team tournament.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's 25 now.
Oh, okay, so
24 or something.
we must have played in every round then for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
But I just remember when
Yeah,
we
no,
were there, Penn State was one of the first ACHA teams to make the jump. And
Yeah.
there was like a 5-year wait list to play them at home, and we never got to play them. And and then they never made the finals, but they were probably one of the better teams in the country for sure.
I think they're. I was looking at the list. I think they're second in championships. You guys were. Lindenwood was first.
Oh wow. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I think it's 6 or 8 finals that we played in, and 6 championships or 4 championships. 2 from us.
Yeah, fair enough. That's awesome.
Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty cool. I went back 2 summers ago for work actually, and I stayed with one of my old teammates that I played with all 4 years, and
Nice.
went to the new rink because we played a half hour away in a town called Wentzville, and a rink with seats on one side, probably fit like 300 people plus standing room. Now they got this unbelievable facility that the Blues practice at.
Yeah.
It also has an outdoor rink attached to it that's covered.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's 5 minutes from campus. It's right by the casino. It's like everything's way better now for them.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I was gonna say your college experience. I mean, I'm trying kind of getting it right now, but how it treated you coming down to the States? Were you a little scared, crossing the border, or what? Even back then?
I think I was more excited. I drove that year too. I wasn't excited about that. It was like a 34-hour drive, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And we did it in like 2-3.5 days. It was just really weird because, like I said, when I got to Melfort, there was a lot of guys there, and we were skating right away. We were kind of early and didn't know anyone, didn't know where to go. And they have this thing in Missouri. You might see it while you're there. It's like every 5 years, these bugs just fall from the sky, like locusts, I think they are. And they got like hard shells.
Are those the things that make all the noise?
Yeah. So they got these.
Yeah,
they got these hard like shells, like a turtle, and they just drop out of the sky. And like we were walking around campus, and it started happening, and we're like, "What the hell's going on?" Like we got back indoors, and we're like, "Let's get the hell out of here!" Like, what are we doing? Luckily, thankfully, we stayed. But so yeah, we had our first practice. It was hilarious. We get our coach leaves the dressing room, and then our captain, who's like 26 at the time, he's like, "All right, boys, we're all going to the bar." And we're like, "Okay." But it's during the week, right? So, and then we all got class.
Yeah.
And after like the next practice, our coach never tried to make us go to the gym ever again, because it's just like he knew that our captain had us under his wing, and we were all going out. Like it was every single day. So we're dominating the league. We're going out every single night, and it was just like, what a great life.
That is the life, honestly.
Yeah. You're just not bringing in any income, so that's the only downfall.
Yeah, that's the only problem.
Yeah.
You guys get very many fans or no?
On certain games that we would for sure, like when Illinois would come, the band would come out.
Oh yeah.
And when we played big schools, kind of the same thing like that. And once you start to meet people in class and everything, they'd make the trip. Our first game against Illinois, my sophomore year, because they beat us in the finals, probably 900 to 1,000, maybe even 1,200 people just packed the house. I think it was awesome. The most fans that they've ever seen, and we got shelled 5-0. And then we
went out too much that week.
Yeah, and then we played an afternoon game the next night and beat them 5-1 in front of like 25 people. Yeah,
that's the worst. Yeah.
But I watched their before they made the jump. I watched their last national finals at the new rink, and it was pretty cool to see like that. It's bowl seating and everything. I think they had 3,500 or something, so it was pretty cool to see.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. Awesome. Yeah,
it was awesome.
Well, I mean, after your ACHA career, you made the jump to Australia. I always been very curious to ask you about this. How on earth did you end up there? Just the whole story of how that came to be and how it went there for you. I mean, I believe you led your team in scoring.
Yeah, call it a team. Yeah, so I was done playing after that, and we in Lindenwood we had a bunch of Swedes that signed, and they played on the Div 2 team, and I think 3 or 4 played on our team. And so I was just like, I kind of want to get back into it. So I reached out to one of the players, and it was for their third league, which at the time was Division 1, it's called, and for a team called Falou. So it was the off seasons, right? So I went out there. I actually called a team. It was just like, hey, I'm looking to play again because I was trying to go play in Sweden the following season. And they were like, I just called them and sent my stats to the GM. I think I emailed actually. And then I got a call back. They were a first year program the year prior, and the coach was from Ontario. So they were trying to get Canadians over because they're only allowed 3 imports a season. But if you stay there for a certain amount of time, like 3 to 5 years, then you become like a local, and then they can bring in more imports.
Okay.
So I didn't really know what to expect. I heard about the league from people at the time. I was just looking to get out of my house and go play hockey again. And they accepted it. I was probably 20 pounds overweight. And I luckily got there 7 weeks prior to the season starting. So I was able to train with the team. But yeah, in Melbourne, they have the nicest rink in the league. It seats only on one side, but probably 3,000 to 3,500. And there's 2 teams there. The other team's the Melbourne.
Awesome.
Yeah, the other team's the Melbourne Ice.
That's great.
Yeah,
for Australia.
Yeah, and Doug Wilson at the time was like in the ownership, and he was the GM of the Sharks at the time. And his kid played there. And the Melbourne Ice. The Melbourne Ice have been in the program for a while, so they had done that where they had 3 or 4 Canadian and U.S. college-born guys that were regulars, I guess you call, or I don't know what the word is, but they were considered Australians for the league. So
right.
They were way better than us, but it was pretty cool when we played them. The games would be on TV, and like the news would come out, and
that's cool.
Yeah, they had line up out the door like while you're getting dressed, and you go from warm ups to the game. There's no ice clean in between, so you're warming up in front of 3,500 people, and
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, one side's blue with Melbourne Ice jerseys on. The other side, half the fans are black and orange with the Mustangs, and yeah, it was pretty cool. The first game of the season was the best one. We played them and went to a shootout. It was a pretty wild game, but Australia was they're way better now. I'm actually coaching a kid here on the island who is his coach right now in Australia. I played against, so I know him through that. Oh, yeah. It's funny how that turns around, but now like guys, the Mustangs, they're set up in a hotel that's basically like an apartment, like the rooms have full kitchens, full suites and everything, where we lived in a rancher 30 minutes away. And it's just like, we look more like a shed to the house beside us. So things are definitely, things always change after I get there. So maybe I'm the good luck charm for the future. But the cool thing about that was you had to travel a lot, and the Virgin Airlines sponsors the league. So you fly everywhere. Which is
that's nice.
That's like a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I think a lot of guys that play in like the CHL Central League and like the SPHL go there in the off season because they'll set you up with a job at the rink or find you like a bartending job, and then set you up with whatever their deals are through the team. Just depends on who has money or not. But yeah,
right,
fair enough.
Yeah, like our team wasn't very good, but at the end of the day, it was a free trip to Australia and got to see.
Sounds like fun, dude.
Yeah, probably a place I'd never go to on my own before. Now I would. I'd love to go back and visit just because you have a lot of sponsorships. They're all invested in the team, and they're just so interested in you. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
That was one of my. Sorry, that was one of my questions. Was the support, but it seems like. Everyone really cared about you guys, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. Like connected to the rink is it's called the Groove Train. It was one of our big restaurant sponsors, so we'd go there after the games, interact with fans and stuff, and then
that's cool.
Yeah, I believe their biggest sponsor is still there. It's called Moat, and he does mental health. He has a mental health company where, and he was my main sponsor because every player gets sponsored individually as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I got really
Oh,
close
cool.
with their family and their kids at the time when they were young, and just like went for dinners and went to their house and stuff and hung out. So it was really cool.
Sweet. Well, man, after that, eventually you end up transitioning to coaching. So how did your coaching career kind of begin? Is it always something that you kind of saw yourself doing, and then how did you get started, and then kind of get to where you are right now?
Yeah, so my first job was actually, did you guys ever go to Puck Masters in Port Coquitlam?
I don't think so.
No.
Oh, I've heard of.
I've heard
Is it still around?
It's gone now. I think Puck Masters, the company's still around, but the one in Poco, it was there for quite some time. Is it an industrial area, like the plastic ice? It was like 1-on-1 and 2-on-1 sessions. So,
yeah.
So you're just there and you're working on like shooting and things like that, puck handling. So that was my first coaching job and experience. And then we would do like on ice stuff as well. And then, after I was done playing, I would just help other buddies that were coaching with their teams and stuff if I had the time. I never really thought of coaching as an option. Then I moved to Fort St. John. Actually, I went and played. I didn't move there to play senior men's hockey, but I moved there for work and then I played senior men's there as well. So I went from 4 years without playing contact hockey to getting hit again in my 30s, that was a good experience in itself. So yeah, when I moved back from there, I started working with Derek Popke at Vancouver Hockey School, skills development. And he works with Vancouver T-Birds Association. So it just kind of started. Okay. Yeah, just started there, and then I got on with the Kings spring program with Chris Helm and all those guys.
Storty,
Troy, yeah, Wes McLeod, all the boys there.
Yeah.
So that's really where my coach mission. Yeah, that's where my coaching really started, and then COVID kind of hit. So that season, I didn't continue with it. Not that I was scared or anything, but just wasn't good timing for it. And then I got back into it next year, got into with Maple Ridge minor hockey, U18 A2 team. Was supposed to be the assistant coach, and then the head coach, he's from Langley, got offered his younger kids team at the time, and he kind of pulled shoot at the end of camp. So I transitioned from assistant coach to head coach. First year head coach, no assistants because I was supposed to be it. U18 A2, so that was fun. Definitely a challenge. They're like, "Oh, are you gonna be okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, it can't be that hard to run the bench." And sure enough, it's really hard to run the bench, no matter what level. I think especially at that level, just because kids are so emotional, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But then, I went to U15 A2 from there, and thankfully had an assistant coach I brought in, and continued on with the Kings that spring. And then, I got a call from Dickie, who I didn't even know at the time. Chris Helm had put a word in for me, and he had taken over with Mission. And next thing you know, he was hyping me up. He's like, "Yeah, I know you're this great hockey guy." I was like, "Hey, I'll take it." I don't know if it's true or not, but sure, it sounds like a fun idea. So let's do it. And then that ID camp in May was like 2 weeks later, and that whole weekend we just got to know each other really well. And Dickie, he's easy to become friends with really quick. So yeah.
So 4 years. I was gonna say 4 years. You're from A2 U18 to junior B head coach or junior A head coach. Sorry.
Yeah, it's quite
pretty crazy story. No, go ahead.
So things kind of just fell in line, and been very fortunate for the opportunities from just even the U18 team. So
it's awesome.
Well, obviously, your first year with Mission last year, we had pretty low expectations going in, ended up making the playoffs. And just how was that experience for you? I mean, making the jump to coaching junior, and what was it like getting to just interact with kids that age again? And how was your whole experience for your first year in Mission?
Yeah, I was excited about it just because being back at that junior level, right? Knowing that you guys all have come up through the system, whether it was minor hockey or if it was through like zone and stuff. So I knew like everyone was going to be at a high level, even though, I mean, with that team, Dickie had to restructure it from basically the ground up. You guys, what was it, like 20-year-olds you lost the year before?
I think there was like 12.
12, right? And then two to four 2 to 4 guys that were still in the league that could have came back, and they moved on to different teams, right? So from there it was just like, okay, we'll see. And then I remember those skates in Abbotsford, and I was introducing Wakey to you guys, and you could not grasp it.
No.
Sitting on one knee. I was like, we're gonna get them there for sure. But
we got there. Yeah. We got there.
At the end of the day, it's all about the kids and stuff. And like, it was whether our expectations to be successful were low or high, you guys are a great group, right? So getting to know you guys and work with you, especially at the beginning, you guys made it super easy just to feel comfortable. Even though I might have played at the level, coaching and coming back after all these years, things change every year in hockey. So I'll give a lot of props to you guys just for being the guys that you were. That definitely helped a lot. You know, you guys could not have gave us a good reception at all and didn't want to even work with us, right? Just because of the way the last year went and everything. Right. So I think everyone that was there still was open to it, and you guys were good leaders that were the vets. It took a couple of months to get you a couple more though, but we got you there.
Yeah, we got him. Yeah.
I'm
glad we got them, but and then so now assistant coach last year, you get the opportunity now this year in Kerry Park on the island. So how does this opportunity come about for you to move obviously to Kerry Park and become the head coach there?
Yeah, so I didn't know Brandon Cox either, other than his name, and then we met. He would come to our games, living in Mission, so met him a few times, and then it was in the off season. And the coach I was here previous had some personal things that he had to deal with. His wife and kids live in Sweden and some stuff here, so he had to step away this year. Okay. And then I got a call from Brandon about the opportunity, and he gave me a couple of days to think about it. And I was like, yeah, for sure. It sounds awesome. Like, how can if I put myself in the position of wanting to be here and advance my coaching career. So it's a good step really early on, maybe a little too early, but we'll find out. Only time will tell. But yeah, and then the coach from last year, I mean, he's 20 years experience in Europe and North America, played the game forever. So it's like, these are some shoes to fill. Unfortunately, I got to meet him at our main camp, and he's been a tremendous help this year for me. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah. Well, I mean, the team's looking pretty good so far. Maybe a bit of a slow start, but things are looking really good right now. So been like, living in Kerry Park and getting to coach this team, and how's the just first start of the season been so far?
Yeah, it's been crazy, especially the last 12 games, going 10-1-1. It's a pretty special run.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. We don't have an easy schedule right now too. We're playing a lot of the top teams, and we're in games that could go either way, and we're coming out on top, which is great. So Kerry Park plays at a Mill Bay, and I actually live in Langford, so Langford is down 20 minutes down the hill. But it's Mill Bay is a nice small city, used to like in Saskatchewan. The boys love coming to the rink. They got the dressing room, which is cool because we didn't have that last year. I got my own office in the room, which is nice. So spend a lot of time in there just watching tape and film and stuff like that. Definitely a lot more work that I have to do this year than last year. But I always look at it. At the end of the day, it's hockey. You can't be, it's not really that hard. It's hard, but it's not hard. It's not hard to get up for,
for sure.
Yeah. And we've had a couple of additions recently. Max Carlson, a D-man, and then Joby Pearson, who's from North Vancouver. Came down from Junior A. And they've just been great additions to our team. Our top line right now in the 9 games that Joby's been there, I think they have 7 combined for 74 points. Yeah, and the 2 other players since he's been there, they're now 1 and 2 in scoring, and he's tied for 7th in 9 games, I think.
Yeah,
I saw that he's
that's Carson Brown, and is it Morrison?
Jacob Morrison, yeah.
Yeah, Jacob. Yeah.
I think we talked about that, Owen.
We've been talking about Brown. We've been talking about Brown all year, and then obviously we just recently, I think, mentioned Pearson and Morrison last episode. But yeah, their numbers
out of nowhere.
When Joby came, like all of a sudden they're the West Coast Express line of Bertuzzi, Naslin, Morrison. It's like because you get to be a productive goal scorer or point scorer in hockey. There's a certain player that you have to be, and all 3 of them have like every attribute that you need. And like Joby's just like a man amongst boys out there. Like guys are hitting him, and like you don't even know, they're just bouncing off him. And then Morrison's got great vision and great hands around the net. And then Carson Brown is just his offensive ability. And the thing about those guys too is they're also back checking and getting in the D zone, so that's huge for our younger guys because we do have a lot of younger guys. Yeah. So when they see those 3 guys playing at both ends of the ice, it definitely translates to everybody. You froze there, but can I tell a quick story about Jelly?
Yeah, do it.
Please.
I actually want to hear it.
You remember the shootout winner he had in Abbotsford?
Yeah.
So we're in overtime. It's 3-on-3. Obviously, Ellie's on the ice. We're better than Abbotsford, but we're just in one of those games where we didn't play well enough and kept them in it. So I'm just on the bench letting Ellie know that there's a player behind him that plays up at the blue line in our zone. And I was like, Ellie, watch behind you. He looks at me, middle of the play, and just says, "Shut the fuck up." And I was like, Jesus, what the hell? Comes off the ice. I'm like, Ellie, you ever talk like that to me again? I swear to God. He's like, okay. Goes back out there. Overtime plays out, and he scores the winner. So we're all happy. Everything's good. I'm like, what did you think I said to you? He's like, I don't know. I thought you were chirping me or something. I'm like, no, I'm just letting you know that there's a guy behind you to get into position. And he's like, sorry, coach, I'll never do it again. I was like, no, man, I want you to do that. I'm like, whatever got you fired up that quick, bring it to the beginning of the game.
What do you think he said, Owen?
I don't know, dude. Like, I still to this day, I can't really tell you what happened. I don't know what made me snap like that, but I think I was just so pissed in that situation in the game. Yeah. And I was just so rattled already that I just heard someone shouting from the bench and just snap. But I'm glad it ended up working out. Yeah, I was I felt pretty bad after, but
it wasn't even what you said though. It was just the fact that you paused mid play, looked at me, so you had all this time in the world to do it.
We got sent in the shootout again.
Yeah, he was a shootout specialist coming down the side wing there.
No, he's not. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I'll tell him that.
I was over 50% in my career. I think I was like 4 or 5. I think it was like 5 for 8 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did the same move all 8 times too. Like same thing.
No, I got to give you props for that playoff series, obviously too. This guy's sucking essential oils out of a hot water cup and coming on the bench.
I felt bad, man.
Yeah, head buried in the wall. Then you got someone complaining about a slash on their arm mid game, and you're just like, look at your captain right now.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
That was certainly a grind, but yeah.
I got nothing else here for the interview if you want to keep her going.
Okay, yeah, well I'll just finish up. I mean, I was going to ask if you had any stories to tell, but I think that covers it pretty good.
Covers it, eh?
So just finally, what are your expectations and your goals for the future here before we wrap this up?
For myself or for Kerry Park?
Both, actually.
Both, yeah. Obviously, like these guys played in the finals last year. There's a lot of turnover, but there's enough guys to bring that want to get back there and to show these young guys too what it takes, and that's really the goal right now. Like you said, we had a bit of a slow start, but now we're climbing up and we're separating from Victoria and Saanich I think 8 and 14 points below us. So, hopefully we don't run into them at all. But now the plan is to try to win our division and try to win the league and keep on rolling the way that we are. And hopefully we can make a good push and run in the playoffs. And then, kind of go from there. And for myself, for coaching, I'm just living in the moment right now. I'm happy being here, and it's great. And, there's still so much to learn. Like I said, their coach from last year, he's been great for me. He's actually come on the ice a couple of times too. So I always tell young players, like, even if you're a 19, 20-year-old 4-year player in the league, like, you never stop learning things about the game. Like you guys play, the game that you guys play now is 1,000 times different than when I played, right? So just being on the ice with you guys and watching how you do drills and how you move and things like that, and it's all different, and I learn things from that and try to relate from my experience. So I just want to take it all in when I'm at the rink and doing stuff, watching video at home or whatnot, and just continue to learn and see how far it can go and how much more knowledge I can gain through it all.
That's awesome, man.
Wow, that's a pretty great answer. Yeah. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for us then. Thank you so much for doing this interview. I think this is probably our longest interview we've done, to be honest. Sorry for keeping you for so long.
I predicted this though with the coaching, the playing career.
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah, Joe actually said
different avenues to talk about. Well, and then you with the ACHL, I wish we could have touched a bit more on your experience a bit, but maybe next time.
Well, I've only been here for what, 3 months now?
Yeah,
it's November,
next time for sure.
It goes by quick.
It does go by quick because pretty soon you'll be home for Christmas, and then next thing you know, nationals are in February, March. So.
Yep. Then it's over.
And then it's over. And then you have 2 months at school with no hockey and going bowling.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it's a good time because the weather gets nice there. And are you close to St. Louis? Can you go to like a Cardinals game when the baseball starts back?
I'm in Springfield, so we got our double A teams there. It's like in between Kansas City and St. Louis. It's like down here.
Right. I'd rip up to Kansas City, go check a Chiefs game.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. It's expensive though.
You're gonna try and do that. Yeah.
It's really expensive.
Yeah, I bet. That was actually the coolest part of my trip, my drive to St. Louis, is you get into Kansas City and you get to this overpass, and then all of a sudden you're looking right into the Royal Stadium. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
cool
sweet.
That. Yeah, you like looking right above like home plate. So
yeah,
that was cool.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for doing this interview. We really appreciate it, your time and your answers, and obviously thank you so much for everything you did for me as well as a coach, for putting up with me and the rest of the boys, and super excited to keep watching what you do and what your team does this year. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me, and same to you, Ellie. Thank you for everything you did last year as a player and as a leader of that team. It was great to see. And I'll be checking in your guys' podcast and seeing how things go. And good luck to you and Drury there.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, guys. Have a good night.
Joe, you know what the most exciting thing about Black Friday and Cyber Monday is? Getting to cash in on an amazing deal that you wouldn't normally get. Except with Raycon. Because with Raycon, you can get an amazing deal on premium audio every day of the year. But that doesn't mean they're not having any sales for Black Friday. Far from it. They're actually doubling down on their amazing value by offering viewers up to 30% off site-wide. A Black Friday deal you'll appreciate every day? Raycon's everyday earbuds, especially if you haven't checked out their latest model, which includes plenty of new features that make them even more of a must-have for any audio lover. For example, they now feature a 32-hour battery life and multi-point connectivity that lets you pair with 2 devices at once. Raycon's everyday earbuds also come with active noise cancellation. It's a feature that's a must-have for me on long flights, long road trips up to the cabin. Maybe you got a long bus ride to your next game, but one that can be difficult to find at an accessible price point. Because that's another thing. Although Raycon's quality rivals some of the biggest names in premium audio, Raycons start at just half the price as the other guys. So they're already an incredible deal, even before you factor in their Black Friday offer of up to 30% off site-wide. what really amazes me about these Raycon everyday earbuds, along with the price and the quality itself, they're super versatile. That multi-point connectivity is amazing. So Raycon's everyday earbuds are also available in a variety of vibrant colors, so you don't have to just have the standard issue white or black earbuds sticking out of your ears. For me personally, I think a blue pair of some Raycons would be pretty nice, or maybe some green, jungle hockey themed ones. Now's the perfect time to scoop them up if you haven't already. And don't worry, if you're not as impressed as I am, Raycon offers a 30-day happiness guarantee, so you really can't lose. It's time to save big for Black Friday. Go to buyraycon.com/THPN today to get up to 30% off everything on Raycon's website when you go to buyraycon.com/THPN. Thank you so much, Jake Ebner, for coming on, giving us your time, sit down, talk about your career, playing pretty insane stories, playing in Australia, ACHA. He said he wished we could have had some more time to talk about his time in playing college hockey too, especially since you're there, Joey. Yeah. But thanks again. That was a great interview. So, Joey, I think it's time we recap a bit more of what's been going on in the hockey world, particularly the NHL. You want to kick us off with some of what's been going on?
Western Conference bullshit. Yeah. No, I'll get into it here. How about the Jets? 15-1.
Wagon.
15-1.
They just beat. Is that after tonight's win against the Rangers?
Yeah, I'm looking at the live standings right now. That's, I think, the best start in NHL history.
I saw a post that said that.
I don't know if that's confirmed winning percentage or through the first 14 games or 15 games or 16 games or whatever. But yeah,
I would assume that's
who would have predicted that, eh? Like.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I can't believe we have them as wild cards.
I had them as the the second wild card, dude. They're looking like they're already looking like basically a playoff team. If not a playoff team, then they're gonna fucking have to choke to not make the playoffs at this point.
They'd have to go on like a 20-game losing streak.
Yeah, they're on a 7-game win streak right now. They don't look They look pretty much unstoppable, man. Their goal differential is +39.
They have everything.
The next closest is what? +23, and it's fucking the Hurricanes. Who are also really good, but you'll get into the Eastern.
Yeah, they've been on a heater too.
But yeah, almost twice as good of a goal differential than any other team in the NHL. So they're pretty much unstoppable, almost as unstoppable as the LA Kings, who are first in the fucking Pacific, which makes
I don't know
absolutely no sense whatsoever. They're at 21, but the Pacific, we've been saying that the Pacific is anyone's fucking game, really. The Canucks have 13 games played, and they're 4 points back with 5 games in hand. Assuming the Canucks win half of those games, they'll be tied. They'll be in first, actually, sorry, compared to the LA Kings. The Kings just have the most games played right now, other than the Sharks, but the Sharks are booty. The Oil don't look good.
The Sharks are 5-2 in their last 7.
Yeah, which makes no sense. They're out of the last place in their division. They shouldn't be, though. They should be trying to tank again, get another pick for Celebrini. Someone to play with. But yeah, no.
Yeah.
Almost as bad. Those teams are almost as bad as the Preds, who just can't figure it out. They don't. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. Honestly, they have
Saros has been shit too, dude.
He's been getting hung out to dry too, man. Like, it's not like Nashville's been good and he's held them back like Jari on Pittsburgh. Like,
no. Well, Jari's been long gone, dude.
I know. I was just using that to compare. But didn't they lose? Didn't the Pens lose like 6-1 or something the other day?
We'll get into it.
Okay, yeah. A bunch of the boys went to a St. Louis Blues game, actually. I had to stay back. But yeah, they were playing Boston in St. Louis. They went over. But yeah, one team that's been really injured is Colorado, man. Like, they have no health whatsoever. They're on red bar health they've pretty much this entire year. But
Nichushkin is back on Friday.
He's skating. Do you take him in fantasy or what?
Playing Friday. I did.
Oh, that's huge. That's why you're so pumped.
Yeah, I've been stashing him. He's been one of my favorite players for a long time. I just love his play style so much. He's so rounded. Like
he's really power forwardy, isn't he?
Even before, yeah, but before he started like putting up points, he was like one of the best defensive forwards in the NHL and got no recognition for it. Then he starts putting up the points and like he's a mutant. So that's huge. Unfortunately, there is news that Gabe Landeskog get a setback. They're still hopeful he's back this year, but you don't
like to see that.
Hate to hear that. One more thing too, Joe, I got to make sure you mention is Nathan McKinnon has 30 points.
Yeah, first to 30 points. I saw that post.
Yeah,
unbelievable,
numbers.
Especially with
McKinnon's been insane.
Probably the reason the Avalanche are still relevant right now.
Him, Rantanen, and Makar have just put the team on their.
They've had
back.
to, man. With the injuries they've had to.
Well, I mean, Makar is third in the NHL in points as well. Like he's got 24 points. Rantanen's ninth.
Yeah.
So it's been insane.
Yeah, they've been carrying.
What those guys have done.
They've been carrying. What else was I had one more thing. Oh yeah, Nashville. How bad Nashville is. I think I mentioned that already.
We already talked about that.
The Canucks, obviously my team, more so my team than the Blackhawks now. I don't know what to say about the Canucks right now. They're so mediocre and they just find ways to lose games. Like I don't know.
I think that's a good way to put it. They're finding ways to just like shit.
Exactly. Like there's no reason why they should have lost that big to fucking Edmonton. It just makes no sense. And Lankinen's been unreal, so he gets a pass on having an off night. Like whatever.
Yeah, he's been
really solid. So I'm not too worried as a Canucks fan. The Flames are slowly coming down to reality. How long the Kings can hold up that high, I'm not so sure.
They can't.
More that I watch, the more I realize how much the Golden Knights are a playoff team and how bad the Seattle Kraken are. They're not as good as I thought they were. Yeah.
Well, dude, like Chandler Stevenson has been fucking. He had a 4-point night. Brandon Montour. It's funny. Brandon Montour had a hat trick, and Stevenson had a 4-point. Montour had an assist too. They both had 4. The 2 big free agent signings, but besides that game, Montour's been good, but Chandler Stevenson has been really rough. He just looks lost out there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Seattle's not looking super good, but
yeah, I agree. But yeah, I think that pretty much rounds out the Western Conference there, Ali.
Sounds good, Bob. Well, I'll get us into the East a bit here. Off the bat,
what are we going to start with? The Pens?
They go on that 6-game losing streak, right?
Ooh.
They go on that 6-game losing streak, and I'm like, it's fucking done. This is so sad. Like, it's done, right? And then Sid scores 6 of our next 7 goals in our next 3 games, and we win a few. And things are actually looking like, we might be okay. We beat the Capitals, who have won 9 of their last 10. We're the only one who beat them. And then we just go right back to playing like fucking garbage and we allowed 6 goals in the first period against Dallas last night. The most embarrassing thing I've ever seen. And then Kyle Dubas said today that nobody is untouchable except for Sid. And then they traded Lars Eller like an hour after they said that to Washington. So
for what? 2 picks?
A 3rd and a 5th. Yeah, not that bad. Like fair trade. Like Eller's been really good so far this year.
I forgot to mention the Sprong trade. What are your thoughts on that, real quick?
Oh yeah, I like it for Seattle. He wasn't a fit in Vancouver. That's all there is to it.
I think they could have gotten like a 3rd or a 4th or something.
Well, it's just future considerations. They'll get something. We'll just see what it is.
A pick or something. It's got to be a pick, right? It's got to be something.
I don't know, dude. They signed him pretty late. Like nobody really wanted him.
Well, he's been back to Seattle like 6 times. I swear to God, I don't know. Well,
yeah, it was. Yeah, that's all I really have to say about it.
Yeah, fair enough.
What else we got? Oh yeah, and then sorry. So yeah, the Penguins they're an abomination. The defense is just so fucking bad. It's funny, they're actually creating a decent amount of chances. They just can't finish, and then the defense is so fucking bad. Goaltending's been bad. Not much the goalies can do, but anyways, forget Pittsburgh, right? It's a nightmare. Let's talk about Alex fucking Ovechkin having 10 goals in 14
He's gonna
games.
hit it.
And you have to shout out his line mates. Dylan Strome,
Backstrom,
8th in the NHL in points, 22 points in 14 games. I think if you go by point per game, he's like 3rd or 4th. He's been unbelievable. And then Alexei Protas has also been so good for the Caps. And Connor McMichael, 16 points in 14 games as well. But Ovi, Protas, and Strome on a line, and it's just the Caps have been electric. They have such a well-rounded team. They look amazing. They're so legit.
How?
I can't believe it.
I don't know how. They're called. Do you see?
It's true though. They are though.
They were saying Strome back. They're putting back Strome right in front of his name because he's like Nicholas Backstrom back in the day. That's so funny. It's so funny, dude. Like fuck. Like I think you think Ovi hits it this year, man. I don't know. I think it's possible.
He's on pace to crush it.
I think it's possible, bro. At 38,
I think he's on pace for like 55.
And he needs what?
Well, he's gonna be 39. He'll be 39 by then.
Yeah. And what does he need? He needs.
Like he needed 42 this year, and he has 10, so he needs 32.
32 more.
He needs to score 32 goals in his next 68 games. Less than half a goal.
He's gonna hit it.
He's gonna fucking do it. Oh, he might do it.
Hit it.
That would be amazing. I hope he does, man. Penguins fan. Obviously, I've cheered against him my whole life, but I've always been a fan of him. I just can't not like Ovi. So
pretty hard guy to hate.
Props to Washington. They've been unreal. Props to their their general manager Chris Patrick and their president Brian McLennan. The team's been sick. Dude, Boston is pretty rough though.
Are they winning? How are they playing?
Swayman has not been good. I haven't seen tonight. Maybe they played good.
I'll look it up right now.
They're tied with St. Louis 2-2 in the third.
Oh, it's a good game. The boys are at the game right now, so I was wondering if it was going to be good or not. They were down 2-rip going into the third, and Boston scored 2 here. So Boston's 7-7. They're 500. I mean,
right.
Fuck. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's not really what you think for them. I mean, they just haven't been that great. And speaking of not great, Tampa's lost 4 in a row. They had a good start, and my prediction might not be looking too bad now of them missing. And Ottawa has been pretty good. They're in third. And is Ottawa playing right now too?
I don't know.
Yeah, they beat the Leafs 3-0.
Holy fuck! Allmark is unreal, dude.
Ottawa is legit. Allmark's good. Ottawa's legit. Book it. Ottawa's coming. Ottawa's finishing in the top 3. Boston and Tampa are fighting for that wild card.
Did I have Ottawa in
I love
a
that
wild
tape.
card or?
Yes, you did.
I think I had them making it.
You said I convinced you.
Squeaking in the wild card. I do really like Allmark.
Yeah.
I forgot how much I like Allmark, but I do like him. I like the way he plays.
Another thing we got to touch on. Carolina has been 9-1 in their last 10. They've been sick. They've been just unreal. Marty Nakish, I mean, third in the NHL in points, 24 and 14
Penner
games.
was saying we should have traded.
That's second in points.
We should have traded Pettersson for him.
Pettersson for Nakish? I know. Well, looking back, I mean, it looks pretty good now. A small sample size.
Still,
but, he just been a mutant this year. Besides that, I mean, the New Jersey Devils have been good. Jack Hughes has kind of woken up. He's playing a lot better. Nico Hischier has been fantastic this year. Jesper Bratt has also been really good, and they're getting some crazy depth. Stefan Nosen's still scoring. Paul Cotter kind of slowed down a bit, but one thing that's looking a little worrisome is Simon Nemec has been struggling, and they sent him to the minors, and their minors team, I think, it's like 0-11. They haven't won a game. They set their record.
It's ridiculous.
So,
well, you'll play a lot of minutes.
They got Seamus Casey down there too, and Seamus Casey's ripping it up down there.
Dude, I thought New Jersey had sick prospects. Maybe they're just top heavy.
They do. They're top heavy. They have like 5 or 6 but they're like fucking elite. So they're all like in the NHL.
Fair enough. They're bubble NHLers.
They just don't have the depth.
Yeah, fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I saw their record and I looked at their roster, and it's not like they have like their top prospects that are there, right? Except for Casey and now Nemec, but like I don't know Nolan Foote, but he's like a bit older now.
Yeah, fair enough.
Another thing to do with the Devils. Did you see the Ryan Lomberg Nate?
Oh my god! Do you see the clip of him after in the room? It was like
reacting to. He's like, I kind of felt bad.
I kind of felt bad. I'm not gonna stop though. I'm like, he just.
So if you guys didn't see that,
some guy walks in. He's like, "Holy lawnmower!" He's like trying to start the lawnmower. You know what I mean? Like he's just ripping the fucking guy's face off. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, so Ryan Lamborghini grabs Nate Bastian on the Devils and just hits him with probably 9 uppercuts square to the face. Like probably the most one-sided fight I've ever seen. But besides that, Devils have been good. Another team, Florida, where Lomberg used to play. Florida's been sick. Barkov, so good. Reinhart leading the way with the points, but Barkov's 2-way game. And then Matthew Tkachuk, I haven't actually heard much about this year. No clue how he's doing. But Sam Bennett has also stepped up big time. He's been really good this year. So just a few more players and teams I wanted to kind of mention there. Not a ton else I really want to talk about. The Metro was looking really fucking good. The Islanders suck. They keep blowing leads and they can't score. They're so bad. Torts keeps scratching Michkov. He needs to retire.
No, it's a good message. It's a good message.
I behind Torts. I get it, but I
look at the fucking game he put up after he was scratched. That's what I gotta say.
I know that's a good point. That's a good point.
It's a learning moment for a guy who, dude, Michkov's definitely got an attitude. Like maybe, for sure he's got an attitude. He put up a record. Did he have a record in the KHL in the K, or did he like?
For like after your draft year, the most points. Yeah, he has to. He
thought he was top shit, and then he didn't play defense for a couple games, and he thought, you know what? Maybe we need to scratch this guy for a game. 2 games is a little excessive. I would say that. Maybe just 1.
I was
really surprised about the second one. I thought something bad might have happened for the second one.
Did you see who they scratched when they put him back in though?
Who they scratched?
Morgan Frost.
So now Frost is gonna have a good game. But yeah, no, I think
maybe.
I think I like
Philly's been a nightmare.
Philly has been a nightmare, but these guys are always overreacting about. I think if he does it more, like he does it more and more and more excessive, then it's a problem. But I'm not opposed to scratching your top prospect for a night or 2 if he's not going to fucking play defense and to send a message. Like it might piss him off. It might piss people off, especially people who like buy tickets and want to see him play. But like,
true. That would suck.
For internally for the team and shit, like I don't know. I think it's not the end of the world if you scratch a guy for 2 games and then he comes back and takes it well for 1. He seemed to have taken it pretty well.
Yeah, that's the best thing, right? That's the most important part.
He seemed to have taken it pretty well.
Then it makes Torts look good.
And then it just makes Torts look good by firing the kid up and then making him want to, work harder defensively and then he pots 2 and then he scored the shootout winner, didn't he? Or did he score in overtime?
I think he had a goal assist and shootout winner.
So like basically
shootout goal, but not the shootout winner.
Basically 2 goals and assist in one night. So I mean I think I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got to talk about for the NHL, buddy. Unless there's any major headlines we missed that we want to go over. Oh, real quick. This is actually it happened the night of our last proper recording. Marc-Andre Fleury's last game in Pittsburgh. Just wanted a quick shout out. Penguins legend. Yeah. My favorite goalie of all time, besides maybe Roberto Luongo. Love them both, but Flowers an absolute legend, and it was really nice to see what Pittsburgh put on for him in his last game there, and he got the W against the Penguins, which I mean, bittersweet for me as a Pens fan, but it was really nice to see him with Sid, Gino, and Letang, and sad he ever left, but glad he's doing well, and Minnesota's been good. So that's the last thing
I was going to say. Yeah,
I'm good to move on from the NHL.
Yeah, we can end off in the NHL just on the Fleury shit. That's good.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, well, this has been a long one, so we won't get into anything else here as far as other sports. Oh, Joe, the NCAA rule, the vote got pushed through.
Oh, we got to talk about that.
We got to bet. This is the last thing. We won't talk of no jungle sports today.
Do you want to put this? Do you want to put this before the, like in the front?
Yeah,
because I feel like this is like more related to junior than it is to NHL.
So let's end the episode now, and then we'll cut it and do another quick.
And then put it like before the interview. Okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
I'll probably put it before our like junior recaps.
Oh yeah, like in between the cold open and like in between our intro and then like the junior hockey thing. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay. Already, yeah. So that pretty much covers it for the NHL. Not going to do any jungle sports today. We've talked for long enough and had a long interview. So this episode will definitely be over 2 hours. Hope you guys enjoy that. But thank you so much. I mean, our social media support has been mind blowing lately. Like Joey mentioned at the start, I mean, we got a couple videos that have all hit 30, 40, 50,000 views, 1,000, 2,000 likes on Instagram.
I'll take the shots, boys.
We're well on our yeah. We were at 700. Yeah, Joe. We were at 700 followers like 2 weeks or a week and a half ago, and we're probably gonna hit 900 tonight with the way it's been going. It's nonstop. Yeah. Hopefully we'll be at 1,000 by the next time we record. That would be pretty
huge,
sweet,
man. We gotta make a thank you post.
You never know,
our first thank you post, Owen.
Yeah, exactly. Our first thank you post. But, as always, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for the support. If you haven't, please, follow us on Facebook, Twitter /X, subscribe to our YouTube, share the pod with anyone you can. Just whatever we can to grow this. I mean, it's really starting to feel a bit more real with each episode now, and we're having so much fun doing it. So we're glad you guys are enjoying, and just thank you so much. And very quickly, last thing, don't forget about the Movember campaign. And if you're not going to donate to us, donate to someone else or do whatever else you can to raise awareness or funds for the Movember cause. But that's it for me, Joey. Finish us off here.
I think you pretty much touched everything, man. As for the Movember thing, if you're not going to donate to us, feel free to donate. If you don't even want to donate, it's all about awareness. It's all about spreading the word. So just keeping things positive. And I'm looking forward to seeing if we can hit that 1,000 mark. That'd be pretty fucking cool. I'm thinking maybe next week, maybe the next 2 weeks here, and then we'll be just going up from there. So I'm just excited to grow with the pod, and I'm just looking forward to it, man.
Awesome, buddy. Well, that wraps up this episode. Stay tuned next week, and thank you all again.